This is a video of the 2020 Keene Hill Climb reunion. I believe it was held on September 12th of 2020, possibly September 19th. It started in Keene Valley, New York, which is in the heart of the Adirondack Mountains. That's a little grassy strip off to our left. And to the right is the Au River. This is a fairly major river flowing through the Adirondacks, has great fishing, and it ultimately discharges through the Au Chasm into Lake Champlain. Here we're moving a little bit forward, and we are now in the town of Keene, New York. And this is where the hill climb has historically been held up until about 1965 or 1966. The reunion is put on by Mike and Ann Hartson. They live here. We're going to go by their house. We probably won't be able to see it, but they live on this road. I call this the Hurricane Mountain Road. I'm not sure that that's its real name. But off to the front left of the car, in some distance, there's a mountain called Hurricane Mountain. A lot of hiking going on there. I've hiked it a few times. Oh, and this is an artistic flashback. That's the car I'll be driving, in 1957. Volvo PV 444. That's my wife with her hands in the pocket, Jim Donick. And then here's some other cars that were in the event.
I thought those were spare parts. Yeah. Are you in the Saab? Yeah, how are you? Is this Corvette Mike's as well?
Yep.
Oh my, that's a nice looking car.
$100 a mile. Keep it. Kind of thing, you know.
Who belongs to this? Is this yours?
No. I wish it would.
Well,
Someday.
oh my, the Miatas.
Yes, it's a cute, that little fun car.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, well, how are you?
Good, Larry. I'm Jeff.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you.
And this is the traditional start of the Keene Hill Climb race. We're just driving along at moderate speeds here, actually pretty slow speeds. I've done this a lot faster than what's shown in the video. I'm not sure how, I've kept the entire route as I understand it to have existed here in this clip. And it's quite long. I'd say it's about 1 3/4 miles. I'll let you know when we're about to end. The general speed limit on these roads is 55 miles an hour. We're not doing anywhere near that as a caravan. My wife always points out the yellow signs that they have around the curves and tells me that's the speed limit. I tell her no, those are just advisory signs that the speed limit is 55. I've done this stretch of road in my MGA race car. I prefer doing it in the Vala because it's registered, less chance of me getting arrested. This looks pretty flat in the video, but it's actually fairly steep. I think these cars are hikers. There's a trailhead here somewhere for a couple peaks called the Crows. I've hiked it from here. Not a bad hike. Good views to the west of the high peaks, Adirondack high peaks. I think one of the drivers in this this particular reunion had raced back in around 1965 or 1966 and had actually won the race that year. He had I believe, a Corvette. Ann and Mike Hartson have all sorts of records of the event when it was run. Pretty good photographic journal. And oh, and this is the end of the race. That's something called the Mountain House, and the race ended there. That was a I'm not sure it was a hotel, but hikers used to go there and hike in the peaks. And we're just going on now beyond what had been the historical race track or race route, and we're just going to continue on this road. When I first came to the Adirondacks about 20 years ago, this section of road was pretty much dirt and not really conducive to driving, but now it's a real nice curvy mountain road. That's the Saab Sana in front of me. The red Mini turned off a few minutes ago because he thought we were going too slow. So we're still on the road that I call the Hurricane Mountain Road, and in the distance there, those mountains. I think one of those is Giant Mountain, and one of those is called Green Mountain. The Giant Mountain is about 4,200 feet. Oh, now we're coming into, I believe we're coming into Elizabethtown, New York here. Oh, and we've actually gone through Elizabethtown. We're turning onto the Lincoln Pond Road. There's a pretty nice sized pond in Elizabethtown. Has a state park with camping. This stretch here to the lake is about, I'm going to say, 8 miles. We're going uphill. Doesn't look like it, but we're on a climb. Probably to about here, and then we're going to start a descent to the lake. And now we're getting quite near to Lincoln Pond. The state campground is off to our right. Behind this fence here, there's camping. And this is a causeway. There's a little bridge that we're going to go across, or it's a box culvert. So you can take a boat to both sides. Now we're going to turn off here. This is Lower Pond Way. Just a dirt road. We've left the group. We're stopping at camp to get a cake knife. I trailered this Volvo up to the Adirondacks on that little utility trailer up to the left.
Okay, we've got the cake knife. We're leaving Lincoln Pond now.
I got the old kind of knife because I figured, it's possible you might lose it and never get this in. I did it. Are we being narrated? Are we on?
Well, we got the, we're on, yeah.
Oh, good. I let one of those dogs get out, but I got him.
Now the road leading away from Lincoln Pond is a pretty good grind uphill. Again, the video flattens the mountain out, but this is a pretty steep and curvy road. I much prefer going uphill than going downhill. I much prefer going uphill than going downhill. You can wind the car out going up, but coming down you got to be pretty careful, especially in winter. Now we are entering the village of Port Henry. This is on Lake Champlain, which is a pretty major lake. The town has seen better days. This road is called the Plank Road. Historically, I think it was paved with wooden planks. And across the top of that brick building, straight ahead, is the state of Vermont. And you can see a little bit of the lake behind the building, between the two buildings on the left.
So I'm looking at through your hand saying, where do those people come from?
Yeah. Are these people on the ride?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think it's just a guy.
It is alleged that there's a lake monster similar to the Loch Ness monster in this lake. I claim to have seen it once on my fish finder, but unfortunately I didn't have a recording. Supposedly it was first seen by Champlain when he came up here, I don't know, in the 1620s. And that's Lake Champlain off to the left. That's not the main part of the lake, it's just a fairly big inlet. I think it might be called Beluga Bay, but I'm not sure. we're still in Port Henry. We're heading now south. I think this might be Route 22 towards the village of Crowne Point. So we're turning off the highway. We're not going to reach the village of Crowne Point.
Every time I watch any,
We're actually going to a fort called Crowne Point.
So then I
We're now heading east. It's very flat land here on this peninsula. That stretch of water that we just saw to the left of the car, we're going to be going on that was really the other side, the other bank, the far bank was this peninsula that we're going on now. We're going east for quite a few miles, and then we're going to turn to the north. And ultimately, this road, in a very short distance, leads to Vermont.
Are you excited to be the host of the Emmy? He said, well, no, not actually. Nobody watches TV.
This must have been great farm country at one time. And now we're turning to the north. I would say we're almost going due north at this point. And there's Lake Champlain to our right. There's a narrow section of the lake there. There's Lake Champlain to our left. It's at quite some distance. And there's actually Lake Champlain dead ahead. Of course, we can't see any of that in this clip. Those mountains off to the left that hardly look like mountains, just little hills. I believe that's the area around Port Henry where we just came through not too long ago. So now we're coming to the state park. It's called Crowne Point. It's the site of historical forts dating back to the French as well as to the British. in pre-Revolutionary War times. I think this was a big site during the French and Indian Wars, as well as in the American Revolutionary War.
Bird watching.
We come here actually in May to, there's some guys who set up nets to catch birds, and they do bird banding. And we usually try to come up here during that period in May, a couple weeks, 2 weeks in May that they do it. It's always pretty cold and windy. A lot of warblers come through here. They come up from Mexico and further south. They come along it's warm on this peninsula, so they have some strength, and then they hit Lake Champlain and they wear themselves out, so they have to come back. So the guys with the bird nets, they snag them coming and going. It's a lot of fun. And here's our group where we fell behind when we went to get the cake knife. And there's a bridge. That's the bridge to that structure there is the bridge to Vermont.
That's the Corvette.
It's new. It was built very, very rapidly. They blew up the old bridge. It was there on a Wednesday, and by Friday it was gone one week, just about. I mean, they blew it up and dropped it in the river,
No, the red one.
started building the new bridge, and basically brought barges in and dug up the old bridge out of the bottom of the river and hauled it away. Big fish in this lake. That's Lake Champlain, that's Port Henry, and just to the right,
The bathroom.
behind that red car, behind that red vehicle. And now we're looking north. Vermont is to our right, that's the bridge to Vermont.
I got the camera going. I wanted to see the.
This is where the lake really opens up. It's quite wide. Can get very choppy. We sometimes will trailer a boat here, but sometimes it's calm as glass like today, and other times it's pretty rough.
There's the big boat.
It's quite clear.
Uh-huh.
The kids.
I went there.
Oh, you went with them?
Yeah.
Oh.
And if you know how to fish it, which I don't, you can get some pretty good fish. So this is the site of the fort. There's actually an old French fort behind us. We passed, it's hard to see. And then you'll see a flag post there. That's the site of the British fort. But all those mounds and what have you are all part of the
British here.
battlements, I suppose,
Must be because.
or the defenses.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's open.
A pretty interesting spot, and as you can see, we just drove in, so it's free. Well, this brings us to the end of the first half of the Keene Hill Climb reunion. We're all meeting up here with our box lunches. We're going to have a picnic of sorts, hang out for a few hours, and then the plan is that we're going to head back to Keene, but Nancy and I are going to sneak into Vermont to look for the sob guy.
You want to sit